Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed.
Roger. Ready to move out.
You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
This town needs an enema.
Riddle me this, riddle me that. Who's afraid of the big black bat?
When Gotham is ashes, you have my permission to die.
Gotham! This is your liberation.
My mother warned me about getting into cars with strange men.
This isn't a car.
20 years in Gotham. How many good guys are left? How many stayed that way? He has the power to wipe out the entire human race.
Tell me, do you bleed? You will.
I want you to tell all your friends about me.
What are you?
He's a silent guardian, a watchful protector. In the dark night, I'm Batman.
Let the games begin.
Welcome to the Batman on Film podcast. Here are your hosts, Bill Jett Ramey and Rick Shue.
Hey now, thanks for joining us today for Volume 2, Episode 73 of the Batman on Film podcast. BOF is the sponsor and a proud member of the Batman Podcast Network. Check out all the shows at BatmanPodcastNetwork.com. There are some good ones. I am your BOF podcast host, as well as the founder of Batman on Film, Bill Jett Ramey. Almost 19 years, boys. Just a couple weeks. Wow. 19 years. With me today are the boys I just mentioned, the BOF Roundtablers, Justin Kowalski and Ryan Hoss. All right, boys, how y'all doing this morning?
Doing well.
Doing good. I feel clear.
All right.
It's not 6 in the morning.
That's usually a Rick thing. That's a Rick thing. He has several honeydew, extreme, very lengthy shoe-do. Yes, shoe-do list on Saturdays. But he actually just got back from. For some reason, I had it stuck in my head. He was in Costa Rica, but they were actually in Dominican Republic for a week, and they got back to Dallas last night or yesterday afternoon, and his wife ran up a very lengthy task list for him to do, and he is on that right now, but he says he'll join us on the next show, which will probably be next weekend. So let's talk about a few things. Not much really Batman news, but a lot of DCEU stuff we'll talk about. And actually, we're going to talk about a comic book story or storyline. Yes. It's going to be cool. So
bunch of dorks.
Yes. I'll save. Yeah. Let's start off with Wonder Woman, and the junket has taken place, and the first folks. I did not attend the junket, just for the record, but the folks who did were allowed this past week. Well, a couple days ago, actually, huh?
Yeah.
They were allowed to post a blurb on social media about the film, which in itself, that is a good thing. That means Warner Brothers feels pretty confident in it, and they are, now the embargo is pretty close to release date, because I do have that. I'm seeing it this upcoming week, so, and I'll still be on embargo until, like, I think it's like the 1st or the 30th or the 31st of May, something like that. So
where are you seeing it at? I'm
seeing it here in Houston at the press screening.
Oh, gotcha.
So yeah, but I'm gonna double check and see when maybe they moved it back. I don't know. I'm gonna check with the embargo, but I know that was the original time. So
they can
anyway,
still move it up if they wanted to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So anyway, but they've allowed the folks who have seen it to again post on social media, and their posts have been pretty damn positive. So, which is a good thing. I mean, that makes me happy to hear that they are positive posts and positive opinions of Wonder Woman going in before they actually post their lengthy reviews. So, well, what does that mean, really? You know, that's what we're talking about. This film does need goodwill. The DCEU needs some positive vibes, and this is a good start. So, Justin, what did you take away from some of these little blurbs of mini reviews, I guess you could even call it?
Yeah, I mean, right when it was kind of announced that they were going to start releasing that stuff early, that to me right there, it was like, well, that's a good sign, because out the floodgates. I mean, that's where it steamrolls. Like, what is this, good or bad? So all the positive stuff was encouraging to know that, like, man, a lot of people, even people that were, not fans of BVS and stuff, were like, this is a really good movie. It's a good film. So that was good to hear. It made me feel, I mean, I've already been positive about the movie coming out, but it just kind of made me feel like, oh, good. It's not going to like, punch you in the gut in the end. Chances are I'm going to enjoy the movie, and that's a good thing. So yeah, it made me feel good, made me feel happy about just the next year. Hopefully Justice League matches the same experience. So, but yeah, I'm good. I'm excited.
All right, Ryan, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited too, and just to hear people be super positive about what they've seen is encouraging. The reactions of positive, instead of seeing positive and negative reactions, I'm seeing a wide range of positive reactions, so I'm trying to find a nice middle ground of them all. But yeah, I mean, I'm encouraged. The only thing in the back of my mind is it takes me back to last year when the fan screenings of BVS came out and people were like, it's so great. And then a couple of days later it tanked. But I don't see that happening here. So I'm very excited and hope the movie does well.
Yeah, because those were really the first quote unquote reviews that came out about the film, is because I was still under embargo. I saw Batman v Superman at the junket, and like I've talked about before on the show, that was the weirdest. I mean, the security and the embargo on that thing was crazy, and obviously I know why, because Warner Brothers knew they had a divisive film, to say the least, and if not a flat out mess on their hands with it. And I had to sign an NDA for that film. I couldn't bring my wife to the screening, which had never happened before. And but there are fan screenings next week too for Wonder Woman, so those folks will be posting. So I just, it's a good sign. I'm glad. I'm very happy. Oh my God, we're positive. Can you believe that, audience? There is actually some positive talk about the DCEU on Batman on film.
Yeah, and like the pictures, and you were talking about the, the NDAs and stuff for the BVS junket. Yeah. For the Wonder Woman stuff, I'm seeing just positivity and pictures and just a celebration of Wonder Woman, which is
That's
really
what I was
great.
Say.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming. Just good vibes coming out of the whole thing. Like, I actually love the social media on it. Well, it's cool to see like these young girls like doing the arm, cross the the bracelet, guard that on the social media everywhere. That's cool, man. To me, I don't even have like little girls or anything, but I just think it's cool to see that. Hopefully it would be really awesome to see like the Summer of Wonder Woman, kind of like Batman '89. I don't know if it's going to hit that level.
They're doing a Wonder Woman Day also, like Batman Day.
Yeah, it got canceled this week. Are they redoing it?
I think they are.
Okay, yeah, it's supposed to be Wednesday, and she was like Gal Gadot was sick.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, hopefully they do that again. It's just really fun to see all that stuff, and especially for a character like Wonder Woman, who, man, she's kind of ebbed and flowed, and like from, there was kind of this goofiness on her, and I think right now there's been this nice resurgence. I think due to her being in BVS, I think it kind of put her back on the not back on the map like she was ever gone, but it kind of gave the public like, oh, that's Wonder Woman. And so seeing it come back, with a big film, and I believe it was Entertainment Weekly has a story about like, why it's been so hard to get this character into new media over the last 70 something years, because the last attempt was that TV show that was awful. I don't know if you guys ever saw that pilot.
It didn't get made, but yeah.
No. Yeah, they made a pilot and it was not a good thing. So
yeah, and there was that pilot, and then they also tried to get, who's that dude that did like Abby McBeal?
Yeah, no, that was him. That was the pilot.
Okay. There was another one that didn't get turned down, where it was very
Smallville.
It was weird. Yeah,
it was supposed to be Themyscira, the early days, and I think the movie stuff kind of like kiboshed that stuff. because it was kind of coming at the same time before BVS started. But yeah, either way, this is cool to see all the pictures and the people having a good time with it. So I'm excited to see that, and I hope that it carries on. They actually said that they've already greenlit a sequel. Did you guys hear that?
I haven't seen that. Is that true? Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's something Zack Snyder said, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they're feeling pretty good about it then. So, I hope it does well. And it doesn't have. This is not going to be $1 billion film. No one should expect it to be $1 billion film. Warner Brothers is expecting it to be $1 billion film. But as long as it does,
what does it need to do?
It's not going to do. I don't think it's going to do Suicide Squad numbers either. I mean, worldwide, 500 or 600 million worldwide. I'm sure they would be happy with. I don't think it's going to have to. It doesn't have to be. It's not going to be this huge $1 billion film, and I'm not expecting that. And I hope no one else is. And
hopefully, it has legs, though.
Yes, it's going to be tough when it's being released, and there's a lot of stuff coming after it. But that would be very, very helpful for it to have legs. And this is, this word of mouth already positive buzz is going to be good for promoting it, because obviously the reviews are going to be good. It looks like, at least from, to be honest, a lot of those reviews were, I don't want to say fanboy outlets, but you know what I mean? They're outlets that
social media outlets that,
that pertain, they go, for those films and so forth. So, just before we move on, let me play devil's advocate just a little bit. Do you think, guys, there's any little bit of hyperbole involved with some of these mini reviews, these social media blurbs, because it's Wonder Woman and it's historic that this character is finally getting a live action film that people don't want to. They want to like it a lot, and they don't want to criticize it. Is there any that could be involved or no? And again, I'm playing devil's advocate here.
Yeah, I will say that this is an interesting phenomenon, and this is something that we saw last year, I think, with the Ghostbusters reboot. I think a lot of people were, trying to be nice to it, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
And Wonder Woman is different. I think it is this strange combination, because it is the gigantic female-led superhero. It's Wonder Woman. It's also in the DCEU, and a lot of people want it to be good and do well for a lot of reasons. Mm-hmm. So the comments I've seen, like I said, have ranged all the way from, this is the film the DCEU needs, to, and this was really good. It's a good film, not just a DC film, but it's a good film. But I've also seen things like, this is the best DC film since Superman 2, and I'm like, you skipped all the Nolan movies.
Superman 2.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I like Superman 2, but there was this little thing called the Dark Knight trilogy, and there's also Batman 89 in there. Come on now.
Yeah. So I've seen a wide variety of things, but that wide variety of things has been positive. So I'm encouraged.
All right, Justin, any thoughts on that aspect of looking toward looking at these little reviews?
Yeah, I think it's just the way, some of it's just a wave of excitement, and I think there is a historical significance. I think people want it to do well, which I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But there sometimes there is, you get excited about something, mm-hmm. and which isn't bad, but sometimes it's like, there's always that situation of, saying something before you can really support it, and you don't want to have to, clean it up, afterwards.
Yeah.
So
like I said, last year,
breaks a bit.
I have audio of Rick Shue saying Doomsday looks amazing from last year, one of last year's podcasts.
Are you serious? You gotta bring that out.
It's on the podcast. You can just go back and listen. He says it.
We need to pull that off of there. And use it for I got to use it for a drop. Yeah, please. Last thing I want to say about Wonder Woman is that the only thing that bugs me about this positive stuff coming out is not the fact that these critics and these bloggers and so forth are saying nice things about it. I'm very happy about that. It's the fans who have not seen the film are already calling it a triumph and it's the greatest film of all time. And no, you haven't seen it yet, dude. How can it be awesome if you haven't seen it yet? You don't know. See the film first. And I would say the same thing for someone who says a film sucks and hasn't seen it. See the film first, you know? So whatever. That's ran over with.
I want to see Alien Covenant, but everyone's been saying it's bad. But I have one buddy who said, "Oh, it's good." And I'm like, okay, it gives me a little bit of like, encouragement. But you see it.
Our pal Tom McClellan said it was. Well, I can't say what he said because it's bad. But yeah, I know what you mean.
But that's a good point of like, if everybody is saying this movie's terrible, it kind of takes the wind out of your sails. But with everybody saying the movie's great, it's like. It's that degree of like, oh man, I'm so pumped to see this. I want to see it. I can't wait. I'm excited to. It's amazing, but you haven't seen it yet. I know, but when it's a lot of people you may trust, I can understand. But still, just tap the brakes a little bit. And so, I'm
either way,
to see
both ways.
This.
The extreme, either way is ridiculous. It sucks or it's the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
See the movie. You can be excited or not excited. Then go see the film. I've went into films. Give me an example. Iron Man, the original Iron Man.
Yeah.
I thought that movie was going to suck.
Yeah.
And I went into a screening, and I'll be honest, I can't wait to rip this. And I ended up loving that film.
Yeah.
I ended up loving it. I loved the first Iron Man,
Yeah.
And so, see the film, you're going to have, and same thing, you may go in, look, I went into BVS thinking, man, this is going to be good. We talked about it. You know how hyped up we all were, and I just was disappointed. So,
Bill was silent. He's like, I'm not going to tell you for like, what was it, 5 days? I can't talk to you about it.
It's like, that was under that embargo. But I was, and really, I'll be honest, I didn't want to influence y'all at all because, I would have said, it's.
And for the record, he didn't. He was like, please don't even read my review, is what you said.
Yep, exactly. All right, let's move on to another thing that's going to be it's not going to be. It was contentious among fandom was that there was a story that broke this past week on
Splash
Report. Yes, Splash Report that said that there have been just massive reshoots on Justice League so far, and that there are going to be more reshoots on Justice League coming. And the reaction was, the reaction. The people who are really looking forward to Justice League and will not, stick their fingers in their ears and go, la, 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 I can't hear you about anything that's even semi-negative or unless it's positive, called BS on it immediately. And then there was the Wrap issued a story in response, which really, if you look at it carefully, Ryan, go ahead. You brought it up first. You posted on Discuss on the Batman Film Story. Go ahead and explain what you said.
Yeah. So now, So the Splash Report said that the Justice League pickups had already taken place, and there's been a lot of them, and there will be more. And then the Wrap's rebuttal to that was like, the pickups haven't happened yet, but they're still coming. And yes, their pickups are coming. So if you boil it down, both stories down, you have the same outcome. Pickups either have happened or will be happening. And, like I said, the clarity of why pickups are being done or when or how is completely irrelevant, because in neither circumstance we know that information. We don't know. So it's kind of a non-story in my opinion. So but what I was thinking was, good or bad, no matter how or why they're happening, which in most films, reshoots happen. It's a built-in thing. But I think we'll need to wait until Justice League comes out, and then we'll start to know the real story, because I remembered what happened with Suicide Squad. We knew when that film was being shot that they did reshoots, but not to what extent or why. Mm-hmm. And then days after that movie came out, we got a bunch of those articles about how extensive the reshoots were, or how many competing cuts of the film that there were, and all that kind of stuff. So we'll know some of the story at some point. But in terms of these two reports for Justice League, they mean the same thing to me.
The only thing that was contentious and the Wrap kind of called BS on was that there had been pickups or reshoots previously, and they never said when these took place.
Yeah.
But the Wrap, or I should say the original report, Splash Report, never said when these massive reshoots took place. The Wrap and their rebuttal was that it made it sound like that they were saying had been no massive reshoots after production ended in October. So, look, here's what I'm saying based on some very educated information, okay? Educated guessing here. That's the best way to put it. There was stuff filmed during production that was reshot, period. And that's
it's a different definition of
yes.
what a reshoot is.
It wouldn't be a pickup. It would be more of a reshoot. You know, actually they're reshooting something they've already shot and making changes to it. We know that there have been massive changes to Justice League starting as soon as Batman v Superman came out.
That's why it was so quiet once production started. Remember, you heard nothing.
Yes.
Right. We were looking for a tweet or a press release, and it just kind of didn't happen. Yeah.
And so, look, I mean, I don't think you can call bullshit on it. I can't, and I think that you would be, if you're one of those that are saying, "Oh, this is nonsense." Well, you're not being honest with yourself. You know, I know that a lot of people want Justice League to be great. I want Justice League to be great. I want to enjoy it, but we can't sit here and say that this film hasn't had issues with. You know, we just can't. You can't do it. Now, it may end up maybe the reshoots and the pickups and all this stuff end up making a really good film at the end, and that's really all that matters. But what do you all think? I mean, does it concern you? I know everybody says, "Oh, there are pickups all the time," but that's not really that's not true for every single movie. You know?
Yeah. Well, here's my thing. I mean, in terms of the reaction, at least, you know, filmmaking is a fluid process, and different filmmakers shoot differently. You know, like Peter Jackson, for example, does reshoots pretty extensively. Like if you look at the second Hobbit movie, he shot the end of that movie 2 months before it came out in the theater. Now, you can, you know, critique that all you want, but that was his filmmaking process, and that's what happened. So in terms of the fan reaction, you know, I don't think it's just not something, I don't think it's wise to point to like a story like the Wrap story and say, okay, there it is. There's the final word. Everybody else was wrong. I'm like, well, filmmaking is a little bit more fluid than that. And the situation, there's more to the situation in general. And these things are shifting and changing daily while the film is getting made. So I'm just saying kind of cool. They're obviously trying to make a good film and make something that we can all be proud of. And that's
Yeah, I agree. The one thing that I think that you just gotta wait until the movie comes out. Like, here's the thing: Justice League has had a troubled production. Like, and I sit on the fence of I'm pumped for Justice League. You know, I don't think I've been, I haven't hid that. I'm not shy about that. But I do know.
And let me say this, Justin. Let me say this real quick. Bringing that up.
Yeah.
This idea that this podcast is just a, just a wave of negativity with all involved toward Justice League and the DCU, that's completely false, because I think all four of us, and speaking for Rick, have different degrees of anticipation and how much they are excited for Justice League and so forth. So that to say that we just speak the truth. That's, some people just can't. I hate to bring up, quote a line from what movie I'm thinking about, Jack Nicholson and Tom Cruise. You can't handle the truth.
Oh, A Few Good Men.
A few good men. Yeah. I mean, some of them really just can't handle the truth, to be frank. So go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, not at all. But I mean, I recognize that it's been a troubled production. Even I believe it was Henry Cavill said in an Instagram post months back, like, hey, like, I guess he sent a gift to everybody. And
for the wrap of the
and it was like, hey, this was a hard shoot, like, I'm not it was there was a whole bunch of stuff going on. We all know that post BVS there was issues. That being said, I think they're doing everything that they can to try to whatever, course correct and make a good film. So this is part of that process. Reshoots are part of the process. Reshoots don't necessarily mean, it's in trouble yet. We'll see what happens in November, fingers crossed, but just let it's part of the process. I think we live in the everything's a news, and years and years and years of making movies, there's been reshoots, and you've already said that, you already touched upon that, Ryan. It's just it is what it is. It makes me think they're doing everything they can to do something good. I'm glad if they've reshot something if it was terrible. Like, oh man, we got to fix this.
Right.
Great.
Reshoots happen when they know that they need to improve. Yeah.
So that's what the final thing I would say on it is, look, it's not, don't discount the fact that, or don't discount this story and just call BS on it from Splash Report, because, maybe they did make a lot of changes, but maybe the changes they made will make for a much better film than was originally, planned. So that's the way I look at it. I'm looking at it from more, positive and optimistic point of view. But I am not going to say, yes, I did say that. Then I had people saying how negative I was. I mean, literally, why are you negative? I'm like, did you read the story? Did you read it? Whatever. So whatever. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Stay with the DCEU. Yeah. James Wan and, James Wan, I think first sent out a picture of Mara. Yeah. From Aquaman, and looked pretty good, I thought, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I loved it.
Yeah. I think it's comic faithful, and I'm not going to say accurate, but I'm going to say faithful. I mean, I like it. It looks a lot of cool design work. The color pops, who knows how it's actually going to show up on film, but from the two pictures we've seen, it's pretty darn cool. Yeah. Already.
Yes. Cause Amber Heard also tweeted one out, was like, it was a different picture, but same.
It's like a different angle or something.
Yeah. They're obviously filming the same scene. It looks like she had swam up to like a dock or something, or port with these ships in the background. So, hey, I mean,
you almost think like, Justin or Bill, do you think it's like cause you compare this to the armored look we see in Justice League. Do you think this could be from a flashback or an earlier scene, or is this like the suit that they wear underneath the armor, almost like how Man of Steel, where they have the Kryptonian armor and the bodysuit underneath? Do you think they've got that kind of thing going on?
I don't know.
The scaling is different.
Yes,
the scaling on the suit is way different than the Justice League scaling. So I don't know if it's an aesthetic thing where Juan is like, this is how I want the suits to look. I don't know.
That's what I think it is. I was about to say that. I think that this is a little bit of an example of James Wan making the film he wants to make. Maybe he didn't, he had nothing to do with what it looked like in Justice League. And so this is maybe what he wants it to look like. It's going to be, I would be interested to see what Jason Momoa actually as Aquaman looks like, and how much different he's going to look, or if at all, I
wouldn't be surprised if he has multiple looks. I
hope.
Have
you seen, there's been this maquette kind of going around online of, it's the classic Aquaman suit with the Momoa head. And I can't tell if it's fan made or not. It probably is fan made. It is straight up the Aquaman suit, but with Jason Momoa head on it. I'm going to send you guys a photo of it.
Okay.
And it's pretty, I mean, it looks straight up like a Aquaman.
It's like the yellow and green and all that.
I see. It's like the metallic and stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. It looks like a maquette. The only thing that makes me think that it's
Trident only has 3 points, though.
Yes, the Trident doesn't look like the.
Was that what you were going to say?
Trident they've been using. Yeah, that's exactly. I go. That was my giveaway was that Trident doesn't look right. So, no, yeah, that's what I was going to say, because
it's not the Zack Snyder 5-dent.
Yeah, but
which I like, for the record.
In the comics, he's got the 5-dent. So, just saying.
Okay.
Anywho.
Yeah. So anyway, that's really all we got for Aquaman so far. That it is filming in Australia, and looking forward to seeing some footage from that. I'm really looking forward to see a trailer from that, at some point.
Yeah.
I know the film's not coming out until December of next year. So
we got ways.
We're out a year and a half. So
maybe Justice League.
They may show something at Comic-Con. but I don't know. Who knows?
They could, because it'll be a kind of a similar time frame to Justice League last year.
Yeah,
they're changing how they do stuff,
and they did release it. They had the Comic-Con, Justice League Comic-Con
exactly
footage, and then they released it. So probably maybe see the same thing with Aquaman. I just want to see. I want to see some footage of what that's going to look like, because I'm getting giddy, and I'm excited if there's like Black Manta and Ocean Master and all this stuff.
Oh, yeah. I love Black
Manta.
It's gonna,
I never
the
really.
actors they have in this movie are so good too. The cast is so good.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, and I like James Wan, and I think
I do too. James Wan is so good.
But you know what?
I'm gonna make an Aquaman on film shirt, and we can throw it up on our page.
If you're listening, you can go to Aquaman-on-film.com and see where it takes you.
Turn make the orange and whatever green, and turn the BOF logo into like a wave. Or something.
I'll do something. I'll do something.
We need an Aquaman on film logo. That'd be funny.
Since we do have the URL, it's nice.
And I will say, Amber Heard looked very lovely as Mira one more time.
Yes,
and comic book accurate.
And she's a Texan, so.
Oh, there you go.
Go Texas. All right. Staying with the DCEU. What's the Flash? This thing, I don't know what to say. I'm like, I put a seesaw picture on one of my stories. It's a roller coaster, it's seesaw, back and forth, whatever you want to, whatever analogy you want to use. But they do have some directors. It looks like Robert Zemeckis is the front runner from all the trade reports, if I am not mistaken. But also, Sam Raimi was in the mix, as well. And
Mark Webb, they said.
Yeah, Mark Webb and,
Matthew Vaughn, too.
Matthew Vaughn, were supposed to be the top two. He's always been previously rumored to be Man of Steel 2 directors,
right?
Or in talks. So who knows? But it looks like Zemeckis. I think if you had those four dudes, I'm going with Zemeckis for the Flash.
Yes, me too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And again, you're getting a director of his stature. It's telling, and it's also very awesome at the same time, because you're getting a hell of a filmmaker, and also he's not gonna take this gig as like a TV show director and just make another installment of the DCEU. He'll
make a Robert Zemeckis movie.
Yeah, exactly, absolutely. Yeah. So, speaking of which, Justin, what was your thoughts?
Yeah, it's part of the the ongoing saga of the Flash not happening. I want it to happen. I just don't want it to happen on a expedited timeline, and it kind of sounds like that's what's putting the directors off. Like, no one really wants to jump on because it sounds like there's an expectation.
Great point.
And so, especially someone like Zemeckis is probably going to go, I want to do this, but I don't want to do it in this timeline. I've got to do it in a even
he's
though
he's got a movie he's about to make right now.
Yeah. And I'm sure he can tap into his time traveling capabilities and make it happen. But I want the Flash to be good. And if that means it comes out in 2019, then let it come out in 2019.
Because he's going to say, okay, I'll do it, but I'm going to we're going to start almost from, we're going to start from scratch.
Yeah.
I'll take a look at, let me look at the script. We'll make changes, and we're going to do a lot like James Wan's doing with Aquaman. So I'm all for it. But you hit the nail on the head with the thing about, it looks like Warner Brothers is so intent on getting this out like now that it may be putting off some filmmakers who, like Zemeckis, who has something coming up. I hope they just say, okay, let's tap the brakes, hire this dude, let him make this other film, and then he can go to work. Yeah. Just like Matt Reeves with, he was finishing Planet of the Apes, or War for Planet of the Apes, and he'll go to work on the Batman come August or September.
Yeah. Well, see, with Matthew Vaughn, now I wonder why if they're trying to pitch it to him, because he did do a quick turnaround on X-Men, or not
X-Men
Origins,
First Class.
He did a quick turnaround on that, and it's
like 9 months or something.
Yeah. So if they're going to him based on that information, that could be, hey, we want to do the Flash. He may not want to do the Flash. He may be like, I want to do Superman, but who knows? You know, I don't know.
I mean,
how
I've
that
also
stuff
heard.
works.
I've also heard he might be using it as a bargaining chip to be able to make another Kingsman movie for Fox too. So there's all kinds of negotiation stuff going on with this. I just hope from Warner Brothers' perspective, and I'm pretty sure they've learned this by now, but this situation seems this situation seems very similar to me to like Martin Campbell and Green Lantern. Like Martin Campbell is a great director, but Green Lantern turned out pretty poorly, you know, because of scheduling and too many cooks in the kitchen and all that kind of stuff. So I think if Zemeckis is like, I'll do it, but I need this, this, and this, hopefully Warner Brothers is like, yeah, let's do that. And they just let him make a Robert Zemeckis movie.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you guys my Martin Campbell story?
No.
I went to the premiere of Green Lantern. And
oh, yeah, you did tell me that.
And then after the movie was over, like, you know, I was hanging out in the lobby and he walked up to us because we had Green Lantern shirts on. Like, we had like suits, but with the green. Anyways, he was all, hey, you guys are fans and how'd you guys like the movie? And it was like, oh, I didn't know what to say because I was I was not happy with the movie. You know, I would not be good at a junket. My face was like, I was like, yeah, I really like Sinestro and Tomar-Ray. That was all I could say to the guy. And it was really awkward. But you know what? Jeff Johns was there and he was really cool. It was like you can tell he was like, man, you guys, I'm sorry.
Really?
Yeah.
Even then, wow.
Just he was looking at us like, oh, he did this like shruggy, like, oh, I'm sorry, guys. So you heard it first. There you go.
Man, that film, not to go off on a tangent, but it had so much possibility.
Potential.
Yeah.
Yes.
Potential. And, you know.
Yeah, the final trailer for it was really good. And then.
Yeah. I did like Sinestro and I don't know.
And you remember before that, like everybody else was saying, this movie looks terrible, terrible, terrible. And I was like, no, this is going to be great. I'm excited about this. It's funny to compare that to like now, like we're trying to keep our expectations in check a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. All right. And one more thing about The Flash. There was a report that Billy Crudup had pulled out.
Oh, yeah.
By several, from Entertainment Weekly and
it was like an official thing.
And I think even Hollywood Reporter all said that. And then, Boris Kitt, he's Hollywood Reporter, right? It said that he the one that who disputed that story? Was it Variety?
The Hollywood Reporter reported that he had not left the project.
Okay, I knew one of them, but there were several outlets reported that he had left, and then another outlet came in and said he's still there. So, whatever, take that for what you will. So, we'll see.
Now for the BOF poll on this, you did ask the listeners and readers who they wanted out of this lineup to direct The Flash, and Zemeckis overwhelmingly won the vote with almost 64% of the vote for that. So
yeah, he seems to just fit him like a glove, don't you think? It
does. A combination of CG and time travel and character work. Like it seems like a really good fit for him.
Yep. So all right, come on, Flash, get made. Yeah. Just let him hire Zemeckis, Warner Brothers, and let him make the film when he can and make it the movie he wants to make. So I'm always for that. All right, so let's talk comic books.
Yeah.
If we can for a moment. The Button, we're going to talk about this storyline because it does set up a big Jeff Johns event story coming later this year. Am I right, guys?
Yeah. And doesn't this set up Dark Days and Metal and before that too?
I think so as well. Not sure, but I think so. You guys, I read the comics. I read 3 or 4 comics a month, but I'm not really super in tune to all that. But I did have it made me read 2 issues of The Flash because it was a crossover between Batman and The Flash. And okay, now Ryan, you read it recently to catch up because you knew we were going to talk about it. So you kind of probably read it. Did you read it all at once then, all 4 issues?
I read 1 issue last night, and I read the other 3 issues just now before we recorded.
So what did you think?
I love this crossover. It is so good. Everything about it, even from just the marketing aspect of it, it was kind of this first big wider rebirth story kind of crossover. other than the Superman one, but this one was the one that they teased in DC Rebirth last year with the button. And the covers, there were like 3 or 4 covers per issue, but did y'all get the lenticular covers for these?
No.
I did.
To be honest, I buy my stuff digitally. So
digitally? Oh, that's right. Well,
yeah.
I got to tell you, I made a special effort to go to the comic book store to get these because these lenticular covers are so good.
Yeah, they are. They look really awesome.
They are really awesome. Like I didn't get the lenticular for the first issue, but I got the other, parts 2, 3, and 4. You got the Flashpoint Batman one, but my favorite one is this Flash number 22. It looks like an old school Flash comic.
Oh, I did. Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
You see the covers, but I don't have it in hand. But that was really cool.
They're really good. They're really good.
Jason Fabok, who did those, the artist on there, he is fantastic. He did the Batman issues as well. He's really good.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as a story, it doesn't really advance the narrative too much, but as a complete story, I think it's really good. And there are a lot of good comparisons between Batman and the Flash, I think, in part 2, which are, really fascinating kind of character work. Mm-hmm. And my favorite issue of the crossover was Batman number 22, which the Flash writer, what's his name? Josh Williamson, he wrote that Batman issue actually, and he did a great job. It's, I can't really remember the last time I got a little emotional reading a comic book, but I did with this one because Batman gets to meet the Flashpoint Batman, which, as you guys know, is Thomas Wayne. And seeing Bruce Wayne actually get to interact with his dad this way, and some of the revelations about what, in this DC continuity, what Thomas Wayne told Bruce as he pulls him out of the well as a kid, like that stuff was like super well done, super well written. Yeah. And just overall, this was just it's kind of crossover, kind of had everything. It's 2 really good DC characters, cool story, cool emotional beats. I can't say enough positive things about it. I think it was really well done.
Well, I'm glad you said all the positive stuff.
Hush. It's comics. And that's the thing too. Like, you can't expect it to be like, this is the best Dark Knight, Returns level, everything. Like, for what this was meant to do, what this crossover was meant for, I think it absolutely succeeded.
See that, I think that was where my problem was. I love the first issue. I thought that thing was breakneck. The fight between Zoom and Reverse Flash and Batman in the Batcave
takes place over a minute.
That was cool. That was a cool scene, and I liked Barry showing up at the end. The final issue lost me. That was I didn't feel like there was a good end to it because it just kind of took you right to the beginning of it, and
that's what I was saying.
Yeah, and then I like the struggle that Batman has at the end and sorry guys, there's spoilers here with all this talk, where Batman is kind of wrestling with what his dad told us. His dad told him not to be Batman anymore. Don't be Batman. Don't do this for me. Don't do this for your mother. And he's standing there inside the manor kind of wrestling with that thought because the bat signal goes out and Alfred's like, are you going out? And he doesn't really respond. And so I thought that was cool, but like, why put that in a Flash issue? Like the resolution did not make sense for me because there was no ending for Flash in that story. It was like, well, I'm going to investigate this, and do some forensics on his body. And then when it's all said and done, like, what was the whole story's point? Was it to bring Flashpoint Batman into the storyline to meet Bruce Wayne? That was cool. And I liked that, but I don't see the point of the story, to be honest.
Well, in the terms of the wider DC universe, it's like they know something's happening, right? They know a little bit more about what they're doing, like the other Flash and the Reverse Flash dies and he says that he saw God. Like, all this stuff isn't happening by accident. They have a little bit more than just a button. So,
but why call it? That's a whole other thing. Why call it the button when it didn't even explain what the heck? We call it I am button.
I love that.
But what's the point of the button? Like, I get that
still don't know.
Well, don't call it the button because it was like the button ... What's it mean? Like, we don't know. We don't know
Well,
anything about that.
Why does, I don't know, y'all can explain it maybe. Why does the comedian's button have all this freaking power? Is it because of Dr. Manhattan is
Possibly.
energized? I don't, I mean.
That's what I think.
whatever.
I mean, I think it's, to be honest, it's just the most recognizable piece of Watchmen, visual cue,
absolutely.
And so
and
you're probably hitting it on the head, Bill. It's probably a connecting tissue that, Dr. Manhattan has, attributed to it and I'm good with that. I'm fine with like the comic book science on it. I just wanted to know a little bit about this button. Like it would have been really cool if because Manhattan picks it up at the end.
Yeah. Well, then that's the first time. Oh, and that's the first time we've seen Manhattan mentioned or shown in any of this Rebirth stuff.
And it brings up, I'll say this. This would not be, this is not my kind of Batman story because I don't like the crossovers, and I'm talking about crossovers between books. I got so tired of that stuff in the 90s, but
Final Crisis.
Even if it's just, in the Batman universe where you having to get remember how it wasn't every freaking Batman title there was to read a story, but anyway, this was just 4 issues, and plus having them come out every week and you could get it done within a month was cool. But and I do like the Thomas Wayne Batman. I wish that he was more of a multiverse character instead of alternate reality character, because apparently now he doesn't exist anymore. From the way I took it,
man.
He's thinking always.
That's what that's kind of like. I'm glad you said that because it kind of felt like they were having that conversation. The characters, is this a different world or it's a different timeline?
Yeah, it's a different timeline, and that's what they basically said.
That's what isn't it what it is? It was the Flashpoint changed the primary reality or timeline of DCEU, that world, that universe. Okay, so that's how I interpreted it. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but. And plus, Batman on a, time traveling multiverse.
He's hanging on by a rope.
It was a little bit out of my Batman sensibilities.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got that 2-ton test line, man. That stuff's strong.
Yeah.
Well, you saw his special battering when he actually, I noticed this when he puts it on the cosmic treadmill. When he puts it on the treadmill, they have this special blue flash effect. I'm an effects artist. I notice stuff like this. He puts the battering on the treadmill. And it makes this little ding. So I'm like, it's Batman energy. It
reminded me of It just reminded me of the stupid, goofy looking scenes maybe in the 70s and even earlier where when Batman would be in Green Lantern's bubble in a construct, in space, or he was piggybacking on Superman, when they were flying somewhere. I never liked that kind of stuff.
And to be fair, the cosmic treadmill is kind of one of those retro holdovers. For example, in the correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but in the Flash TV show, they don't really have the cosmic treadmill, do they? They kind of, when they do time travel, they've explained it more. It's like this big, particle accelerator thing. They have to run around.
They have a treadmill. They do have some kind of treadmill thing. That's why it reminded me of that when I saw it in the story. But and the ending. Look, I don't want to have this go through another one of these where Bruce Wayne gives up being Batman and someone else comes in and when Bruce comes back. That is just right. I'm tired of that storyline, and I hope that this doesn't, because there's been a lot of speculation, people writing stories about it. Does this mean, what does this mean? So I don't know what it means.
That's what they want us to do.
I know, but
going into
hope,
summer. I'm sorry. Going into summer, I feel like it's going to be more of a no. This is why Batman is Batman. That's what the summer storylines feel like. So,
I hope so. I hope so. And Batman not answering the bat signal is kind of, I don't know, kind of sucks a little bit. But whatever.
But I liked it. I liked that he wrestled with it for the first time.
That part. Yeah.
And what else would make him do that other than his actual father telling him that? And that's what made it work for me. Otherwise, it would have felt disingenuous if it was pretty much anything else. But that made sense to me.
Yeah. Just that it was in the Flash. That was dumb.
All right. So real quick.
Yeah.
What's y'all's thoughts about them bringing Dr. Manhattan and the Watchmen universe into the DC universe proper? I guess the best way to. I'm kind of a mixed opinion of it myself. You know,
I don't have a problem with it. As long as the stories are good, even the. Yeah. Here's the thing: before Watchmen, when they put the big Before Watchmen deal out, my opinion was if it's good, if some of it's good, cool, because I like revisiting a world that I like. You know, Watchmen was good.
Yeah.
Now those Before Watchmen stories don't take anything away from Watchmen for me. For me, it's just like, oh, okay, that's cool. Like what was it? It was the Minutemen miniseries. I thought that was really good.
Was that the Darwin Cook one?
That was the Darwin Cook one. That was really fun. I thought that was good.
It doesn't ruin or take away from Watchmen. Yeah. It's just kind of a additional thing. So I think that's the thing. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I was just going to say, like, as far as all this, merging them together, make it good. Like I don't have. I'm not so beholden to Watchmen that they can't, do what they want with it. They own it. And there's always a little part of me that likes it because I know Alan Moore. He's kind of a turd. I think he's just like he needs to get over himself.
I was about to say I know who is not excited about it is Alan Moore.
so anything that makes him upset, I'm good. Yeah.
So what's the big story that the Superman Dr. Manhattan story that Johns is doing? I forget the title of it.
Doomsday Clock.
Yeah, Doomsday Clock.
So, what do we know anything about that, or what? It's just all we know is Superman and Doom.
Is that what that last panel is?
Yeah,
that little epilogue thing.
Yeah, and here's what I like about it. It's going to be. They said it's going to be a one shot. It's not going to cross over. I wish they would have done that with the Batman Flash story.
Yeah, just make it like a special.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that would have been better. But
like a 40-page special, that would have been neat.
Yeah. So,
well,
there you go.
It is what
like
it is,
DC
I guess.
Rebirth.
Yeah. And just speaking of, getting Batman back on track, did you like the Swamp Thing Batman crossover?
Oh, yeah. That was a great issue.
Haven't read it.
Okay. We'll talk about it later. Ryan, read it and we'll discuss it because I both was kind of not appalled in a bad way, but shocked to some of the stuff, and I also laughed a lot at some of the stuff in there. I thought it was a pretty good issue and it worked.
Yeah, there was good.
Really well.
There was good moments, and it was a good, and I'm not going to spoil anything. It was a good mix of, this is how Batman, deals with weird stuff, and it had some good personality moments for Bruce Wayne. Like there was a little bit of levity at some points, and it was fun. There was some good. It was a good The Brave and the Mold. I love the title.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah. Anyways, it was a good comic.
All right, so let's move on and talk about some iTunes reviews. Ryan, you mentioned it on our last show, and we had a kind of a long show, and then we decided to do it on this one. So, What do you got?
Okay, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 4 more reviews since last time. And by the way, guys, if you have not yet left BOF a iTunes review for this podcast, please do it, because like I said, we will read it on the air even if it's bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out with the bad ones, or the bad one, and then go up. So the first one we have is from Fidgety Biggie, and the title is and it was a 1-star review, and the review says That's all.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next one is from Greg in Virginia. The title is Decent Content But Needs Some Work, and it's a 3-star review. And it says, and we can directly address this today, I believe. It says, each contributor seems to be on a different audio level. Very annoying to have to adjust volume repeatedly throughout the podcast. Rick Shue's takes have been so complex and melodramatic. I usually hit fast forward when he speaks. It's Batman, not Shakespeare. Lastly, and that's why Rick's not here today. Lastly, no idea where the Jett nickname comes from or why it needs to be mentioned on every intro.
That's who I am. Kind of.
That's his name.
Yeah.
Jeez.
He must not be a long-time BOFer, because there was a time that knew the real name. It was just Jett. So I'll tell
Jett
that story
D60.
one day. I'll tell that story one day.
Yeah, we need your secret origin story.
Have I ever told that story?
I don't know.
No, I don't.
Okay, I'll tell it real quick. When my second year coaching, I got a high school job in Port Arthur, Texas, and we were going to a coaching clinic in Austin before school started, and the head coach, we were riding in a car. There was 4 of us who were going up there. These 4, and I was the youngest by far, and they were, giving me the rules of and I was single. Okay. I wasn't married, and of being out of town. And, it was kind of one of those, what happens out of town stays out of town type of things. And, and they all had aliases, these alias names that were, they would go and they would be, whoever they were. And so the head coach says, okay, we're going to have to give you one of your fake name. And I said, fine. And he thought, and he said, all right, we're going to call you Jett Donovan. And that's amazing. That's why it was Jett D.
Oh, okay.
For Jett Donovan. That was my alias name, out of town name, Jett Donovan. And the 60 from that's what number I was in high school. And when I played football, I was number 60. So that's where Jett D60 came in. That's the story of Jett D60.
Oh, okay.
And so people my friends, it was a joke, being called Jett was a joke. And then every once in a while, they'll call me that. And then when I started Batman on Film, I just used it for, it was my pen name. Basically, I didn't use my real name, and it was just Jett. And then it's just stuck, so that's the story of Jett, of how that came to be. It had nothing to do with Batman. It had everything to do with my other career, which was coaching football. So there it is.
That's a good story. That's cool. Jett Donovan. Jett
Donovan.
Man.
Hi.
It's like
you
a secret
have a
agent.
way better secret origin name story than me.
J_Rocca.
You have to tell that story. The next
one day.
Batman on Film podcast, Justin will tell us the origin story.
I'll tell you the story.
All right. What else we got on iTunes?
We got 2 more. This one is actually from our pal Rob Myers from the Everyone Loves the Drake podcast. He gave us 5 stars. Thank you for being so gracious. The title of the review is "Could be a great show if there was more Robin talk." Good Lord. But he says, "Just kidding, guys. I love what BOF does and how they lay it out on the line. Here are the facts, plain and simple. No sugarcoating. But yet the show stays sweet. Ooh. Keep it honest, keep it real, guys. And thanks for adding us, the Everyone Loves the Drake podcast to the BOF family." That's pretty awesome.
All right. Thank you for that nice review.
Yeah. And the last one is from Batfan Jordan V, 5-star review. And I can't read the whole title, but it says it's informative and entertaining. And he says that Jett, Rick, and the BOF Roundtablers, I guess Justin, you and me are like the and the rest from Gilligan's Island, I guess.
You're like on the BOF podcast. Like the original Gilligan's Island theme song. With you can say
exactly.
Professor and so you're the Professor and Mary Ann, but the original.
Yeah. Which one are you, Justin?
I'm partial to Mary Ann.
Okay, I guess I'm the Professor.
Well, there's your secret origin story right there.
There you go. I'm wearing cutoff shorts right now.
He says, they review the movies and break down the latest news around them. They are knowledgeable and entertaining, and they have great chemistry with one another, so it is always a blast to listen in. Let's see. The only change I'd want them to make, it's not going to knock them a star, though, is that I wish they would focus more on the direct-to-video DC movies, too, at least the DCEU animation line. I'd love to hear their thoughts on those films as well.
Well, we've done some shows on those. We did Killing Joke.
Did we?
Yeah.
We did
Did that ever get published?
We did Killing Joke. We did Return to the Cape Crusaders.
Yeah.
I almost said Return to the
We
Bat.
didn't do Teen Titans or...
No.
There's a few we haven't done. But.
Justice League Dark.
There's
a bunch.
Yeah, if it's a Batman film, we'll do it from now on for sure. You know, when this
I think that's a good rule.
Yeah, absolutely. We got what, Batman and Harley Quinn coming up this summer.
Yeah, I'm excited about that, and it's in the DC, Batman animated series continuity too, I believe.
Yeah. So we'll do that, and so anything that's Batman, half the films or more are Batman that comes out of that animated line.
Yeah, and even the Justice League ones have Batman as a focus.
Yeah, always features Batman for sure. Yeah, we'll do that. Thanks for that. Reminding us to do it, but we have done it. We have done it. Yeah. Have done it before.
Good kick in the butt. Good kick in the butt.
Yeah. And anybody have anything to say to goof on Rick before we leave?
Already did. We already talked about how he said Doomsday was great.
Oh, Rick! All right, I love you, dude.
Yeah, we miss Rick.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
That was just
we do miss Rick.
We do miss Rick. So he'll be back on the next show probably. And we got our Wonder Woman watch party coming up soon, which
2 weeks
will be there. Yes, you get to experience June in Texas. That should be fun.
That's gonna be great.
But it's much better than August in Texas. Let me assure you of that. And we'll be seeing Wonder Woman together. We got a pretty good group of people coming. Peter Vera's coming in from New York, who reviews Detective for Batman on Film, and of course Justin. Ryan, got to try to get you down there to Austin for Justice League, because that's the town.
Yeah, I got to do that.
Want to visit? Yeah.
Actually, they're coming out with a Alamo Draft House here in Raleigh later this year. Okay. Yeah, I'm excited about that.
We're going to do it at the Alamo Draft House in Austin, which is, I believe, the original one, the one we're going to go to.
Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah. It is the original. And Austin
I'm actually planning for that one too, but I'm going to bring the wife. So.
Oh, she'll love it. Hey, Austin is my favorite city in Texas, and that's why I'm going to move there as soon as my son graduates high school in a few years. I love Austin, and
be closer to Rick.
Well, you know what? Yeah, it's not really. It's
like the same distance.
Yeah, away. Austin's about the same distance from Dallas as Tomball, Texas is, which is Houston area. So, with that said, let's plug some stuff. So go ahead, Ryan.
Okay, follow me on Twitter at SMB_Ryan, and like I said earlier, leave the BOF podcast a review, if positive or negative, on iTunes. We'll read it on the show. Follow the other podcast I'm part of, Everyone Loves the Drake, on Twitter at ELTD Podcast, and you can find them on the BatmanPodcastNetwork.com website. And I kind of want to tease something real quick. A couple days ago, I got to talk to somebody, and I interviewed this guy, and he's a cool guy. And I'm trying to figure out exactly what to do with it. It's going to be a podcast, but I'm not sure how it's going to break down just yet. But I got to talk to Dennis O'Neil for 2.5 hours.
Wow.
And it was great. It was great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
If there's one person related to Batman that if I could choose to talk to about Batman, it would be him, because he's been so involved in Batman's history, from all of his whole career. So I've got a tiny little audio snippet from that I can play if it works.
Batman's inspiration was the Shadow, which was a big favorite character of I wonder if I'm going to get in trouble for this, of Batman's creator, Bill Finger. I spent one memorable evening with Bill about a month after I came to New York.
So there you go. Nice. So the interview is full of stuff like that. He just laid it all out, told us all kinds of cool stories from his life and Batman. So stay tuned for that. I'm still editing that, figuring out how I'm going to make it, but it'll probably at least start on a BOF podcast, I'd say.
All right. Awesome. I mean, he changed Batman from the campy Batman to brought him back to his roots as the Dark Avenger of the Night back in the very early 70s. So, he wrote The Joker's Five-Way Revenge, which was one of my favorite individual Batman stories of all time. He wrote a lot of great Batman stories. All right. Anything else to plug, sir?
That's it.
All right.
Justin.
Justin hasn't plugged yet? Go, Justin.
Oh, hey. That's right. I was like, my computer is about to die here. Just follow me on Twitter at J_Rocca. Hit me up. Tell me, hey man, I disagree with you, and that's good. We'll tweet for 777 tweets. It'll be amazing. If you can check out Let's Go Comic Show and Let's Go Cast, if you go to www.letsgocast.com, you can check those out. Let me know and listen to those shows and tell me if you like them. And we're putting out the comic show like on the weekly, so it's been fun.
Too often. I can't keep up.
All right. I'll let announcer Rachel do most of my stuff, but I'm getting closer to getting caught up on my Batman year in review. I'm about to hit the 2000s. I got 99 I'm going to do this weekend, and then summer's coming, which means I'm on basically a 2-month vacation, and I'm going to crank them out on a regular basis. Also, we're reviewing the Batman, the animated series episodes in order and air date order. And so Heart of Ice should be dropping by Chris Clow, should be coming this weekend.
And then my Feet of Clay is coming too.
Yeah, send Feet of Clay anytime, man.
Yeah, I need to send that out to you.
So we'll be doing that. And I did want to say that I was totally bummed to hear about Chris Cornell passing away this week. I don't know what the whole story is and what the deal was, but I do know this, that it was one. It's sad. He was a great songwriter, fantastic singer, and one of the icons of we talked about grunge rock or early '90s rock out of Seattle sound. So I was bummed, and I wanted just to mention that. And I know Rick would have several minutes of conversation. It probably would spur a whole different segment, but I just wanted to mention. R.I.P. Chris Cornell. And Justin, your thoughts real quick, because I know you're a fan of.
I'm sad, and it's terrible when we think people that have it all together and they lose it, and we lose a talent like that. So yeah, I was sad. He was a great artist. So yeah,
Chris Cornell, you kicked ass. Yep. I'm Jett, and for Justin and Ryan, or announcer Rachel will take us out, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey now! You've been listening to the Batman on Film podcast, a proud member and the sponsor of the Batman Podcast Network, BatmanPodcastNetwork.com. You can listen to the BOF podcast on iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher, Google Play Music, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, TuneIn, and wherever good podcasts like this one can be found. Want to advertise on the BOF podcast? Go to advertisecast.com/the Batman on Film Con podcast. Follow Jett on Twitter at Batman on Film and on BOF's Facebook fan page at facebook.com/Jett.BatmanOnFilm. Email Jett via Jett@batman-on-film.com. Follow Rick on Twitter at ShoeRick and on Facebook at facebook.com/BOF-Shoe. For Jett, Rick, Justin, and Ryan, I'm announcer Rachel. Thanks for listening.